Good evening. I'd like to call to order the April meeting of the Monroe County Public Library Board of Trustees. And as we begin our evening, we'll just go around and introduce ourselves and share something that we're reading or a game that we're playing if we choose to. Amy, we'll start with you.
All right. My name is Amy O'Shaughnessy, and I'm reading Absolution by Alice McDermott and Barb and the Last Berserker by Dan and Jason.
My name is Chris Harrison. I just picked up 3 new books: The Night War by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley, The Mystery of the Locked Rooms by Lindsay Curry, and Slugfest by Gordon Corman.
I'm Greer Carson. I'm reading The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, and like a lot of people, we are replaying Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 in honor of the new Amazon Prime series of the same name.
My name is Kari Essery, and I am reading My Friend Anne Frank, which is about a playmate, a girl that grew up with Anne Frank, and they were friends until Anne Frank disappeared, and it's her nonfiction retelling of that time. It's very interesting.
And I'm Chris Hull, and I'm finishing The Covenant of Water, and I picked up another listening, but years ago, I was working on a series, and they just hadn't come out with the last book, and I found it this evening, so yay for me. It's The Keeper of the Lost Cities.
Okay, first item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda items. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 20th meeting, the monthly financial report, monthly bills for payment, personnel report, and the board meeting calendar?
Second.
Okay. Discussion, questions, or comments? I think Greer wanted to make a comment about.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, you'll notice the changes to the payroll and personnel reports beginning this month. The State Board of Accounts did confirm that we do not need to include the names of staff along with their wages in our public reports, and so we've removed the names from the report this month. Actually, going forward, we're going to remove that entire report, so you won't see a long list of positions with no wages and no names, because the sum total of payroll expenditure you get in the email that goes out with the packet, and it's also reflected in our operating budget update. So, and then the updated format for the employment data is also in this month's report, and that reflects the conversations we've had last month and in February.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda items signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. Okay, next we'll turn to the director's monthly report.
All right, some highlights. Our Teen Services and Southwest staff teamed up to host our very first Hot Ones episode. The first guest was Southwest Library Assistant Danny Price, who suffered courageously through a series of increasingly intense hot sauces while answering an array of professional and personal questions from teen patrons. If you haven't seen it yet, check out the video via Cats on YouTube, the Cats website, or even our TikTok preview of the video. And yes, we do have future episodes planned. Southwest staff are continuing our partnership with Mother Hubbard's Cupboard as they continue to teach cooking classes to many of our Southwest patrons. Having Southwest adult librarian Becky Kraft at these classes is great because she's able to speak to branch questions, programming interests, and general MCPL service questions, and staying connected to our friends at Mother Hubbard's and our patrons who are there. We are going through a change in our periodicals delivery routine. For years, we received the Herald Times, Indy Star, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and USA Today from direct carriers, which ensured that we'd have each day's issue available the same morning or the afternoon at the latest. We were informed in March, alongside a pair of Herald Times articles on the 13th and 15th, that carrier delivery will discontinue and that all print paper distribution will now go through the U.S. Postal Service. While it's understandable from a business model standpoint, it does mean we're unlikely to receive print newspapers early enough each day to have them available to the public upon opening, and that we can't really guarantee same-day availability of some print newspapers. Instead, we're going to direct our patrons to our online editions, as they are usually immediately available, and of course, digital access is increasingly becoming the preferred model for news, and is ultimately what this shift is all about. Not necessarily a bad thing, but worth noting for patrons who do rely on MCPL for access to daily print newspapers. And based on patron feedback, we've started a new Blu-ray video collection here at the downtown library. The first few weeks have already shown some strong circulation, and so we'll see how this collection grows. They are located at the end of the adult DVD collection on the second floor. And as always, happy to answer any questions about the report.
I was happy to see all the compliments that you had put in there. That was really nice, heartwarming stories.
Yeah.
And then I was curious if the kids get to try the hot sauces.
That's a great question. I'll have to ask Tiana, who's running that program. I'm guessing no, but if you've seen the actual show, by about the fourth or fifth hot sauce, it gets maybe dangerous. So I don't know if we're having them test those or not. Yeah.
Shift in the newspaper delivery. When you are directing patrons to a digital version, does the library have access to all of those subscriptions, and how, I'm not familiar with how readers access that subscription when they sign in using a
So it's a
library
great
device?
question. For some of those papers, access is IP authenticated, and they can only do it here on site. I believe the Herald Times and the New York Times are two examples of those. The Wall Street Journal, I'm not sure. You might be able to log in off-site. For some of them, they create like the equivalent of a digital voucher that says you can, like a login code, and you can access it from home. And some of them have open access through your library card. So it really just depends on the paper. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just curious, do we receive many visitors to to this area, to the downtown during the eclipse weekend? I know it was much less than we expected, but.
Like the rest of the state, we had far fewer visitors than we expected, and certainly no indication of concern as to the security of our building. But it seems to have gone well for everyone throughout the community. So, yeah, a bit of a relief. Over-planning is better than under-planning, I guess. So, yeah.
Any other questions or comments for Greer? Seeing none, then we will move on to old business. We have no action items, but the first one is going to be an update on the Southwest branch closure. So, Greer?
Sure. Just a few very small updates. We are starting to move out of the quiet progress phase and into some more visible and tangible steps toward reopening. I'm happy to share that the drywall work and the painting and all of the installation is now complete. Also, the flooring samples are set to arrive next week. Once they do, we'll test the samples against the remaining flooring to make sure it's a good match before proceeding with installation of the luxury vinyl tile throughout the impacted areas of the building. We're also working with our shelving and furniture companies on getting replacements for the pieces that were damaged by the standing water. As for the HVAC system and the official decision as to the cause of failure, our final insurance meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, April 23rd, after which we expect to have more information about that important part of the eventual claim. This will give us the final piece we need to decide on and announce a reopening date. Critically, that forthcoming information will guide whatever steps we take in preventing the similar failure from occurring in the future. And the Herald Times article, which came out on March 31st, we thought did a really nice job of laying out the sequence of events. And it was the first time we shared pictures of the actual damage. Once the flooring is installed, we'll go ahead and share some more pictures of the restoration work as a lead up to announcing our reopening date. So that's kind of where we are in terms of mid-April and what we expect to come over the next few weeks.
Inform the board if there are any decisions from the investigation.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments about the Southwest branch? We hope that date will approach quickly so we can get back in our building. All right, next we're going to have an HRIS review and adoption update from Becky Throckmorton.
So I'm excited to be standing here in front of you all, letting you know what we're doing with our HRIS platform. So we actually started reviewing this to address our HRIS platform back in 2022, 2023. Just wanting to make sure that we had the right solution for our staff and for our organization as we continue to grow and evolve. Just a little bit of history. In 2017, we moved to Ultimate for payroll, time management, and benefits. Ultimate became UKG, and just sort of over the years, their service model has continued to change. Our needs as an organization have continued to change as well. And so we met as a group and decided what we needed from an HRIS platform, and what we're looking for an organization to be able to better serve our staff and better be able to really do the full life cycle for employees. We had an HRIS review committee that met to review 3 HRIS platforms, agreed unanimously that Paylocity was the right option to move forward with. I did vet about 10 platforms total, so we did look at the whole market space to see what was out there. Very excited to be moving forward with Paylocity. They're going to be an all-in-one solution for staff. And so we'll have everything from payroll, time management, benefits, and open enrollment, to recruiting, hiring, onboarding, workflows, employee data, performance management, learning system, reporting, and then some recognition and community opportunities as well in the platform. So this is actually going to pull together 3 platforms that our HR team was using. UKG, we had Exact Hire for recruiting, and Bamboo HR, which we were using for onboarding, pre-boarding, and off-boarding, as well as some learning pieces there. So this pulls one platform for all of our staff to use. And we are looking to switch to Paylocity for July payroll. So it takes about 12 weeks to get everything up and running. We started the implementation, we signed the contract back in March, and we started the implementation here this week. And so things are running really smooth. We had our first call with Paylocity today, and so everything's moving along really smoothly there. We will step into payroll and time management first, and then we'll do open enrollment and benefits for our November, December open enrollment. In total, we're looking to save some money moving to Paylocity. So UKG, Bamboo HR, and Exact Hire were costing money for all 3 of those platforms. And so in total, we're looking to save about $20,000 a year with that one platform. Any questions? Yeah.
Is the overlap where we still have access to the ones that we are currently using as we switch to Paylocity?
Yeah, so Paylocity will start using it for July. UKG we continue to have access to through November. Paylocity is going to do all of our W-2s and our ACA reporting. So staff are just going to get one W-2 and one 1095 that will come from Paylocity. So they'll take all of the data through the beginning of the year. But we have a nice overlap there in case there's any data that we're missing or anything that we need to pull. And then on those other 2 platforms, we'll be able to time out when we want to end the contracts with those. So
we'll be totally fully implemented by the time the contracts run out with the ones that we're currently using? Since you said we're kind of bringing it up in pieces, is that what I understood? That
yeah, so it'll be essentially 3 different pieces. UKG is the one that's a contract that has a specific end date, so that's November of this year.
okay.
The other 2 are sort of pay-as-you-go contracts or quarterly, so we'll be able to time those out.
Got it.
And then we should be fully implemented on Paylocity for 2025.
All right.
Which seems weird to say.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Other questions? Okay. All right.
Thank you very much for all your hard work in getting that switched over and in researching it and coming up with a solution.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. We have no new business for this month. So next we're going to move on to department updates. We have an update from Public Services and Programming with Josh Wolf and Dana Duffy.
Thank you, folks. I'm going to go first, and then Dana will replace me. The updates for all of Public Services are a little strange for me because each department does its own update report. And I don't want to steal their thunder or get too deeply into the work that they're each doing. So rather than giving you an overview of what each department's doing, it's a lot, or to talk about how the departments are working together in new ways, like for the first time, all of the Public Service department managers got together to design the summer reading program this year. Instead of all that, I'm going to just take a few minutes and talk about what's happening with the Southwest staff during this unique moment when they're without a library, because it's really a moment that they've turned into an opportunity. You guys have asked us a few questions about it, and we've kind of given you some very brief answers, but it's sort of a special time for them. For starters, they really like using my office. 5 of them have taken over it, and I've moved in with Greer. They never miss an opportunity to tell me how great the view is up there. But the truth is that space is more really just a place for them to park their gear and have an occasional meeting, because they are out all over the place. None of it would be possible without the leadership of Kathy Riley, their manager, who's helped keep their projects going forward and worked with her peers all over the leadership to get them integrated into different departments among our staff. So we're really lucky to have her. Among the librarians, adult librarian Becky Kraft, as Greer was sort of alluding to earlier in the director's report, continued the monthly kitchen partnership with Mother Hubbard's Cupboard, and they've really opened their doors to us. They've given us ingredients, they've given us expertise. We are meeting new patrons there. Recently, a 12-year-old at one of those events shared that Southwest is his favorite place in the world. His birthday is in May, and his birthday wish is that Southwest will be open by then. This is a lot of responsibility for us. With the help of the inestimable Chloe and Sophia Jessica, Becky Kraft has continued and/or begun almost all of the Southwest Adult Services programming that had been originally planned for this season. 3 book clubs, RPG Club, Craft and Sip, Adult Craft Club, all while they're continuing to partner with other organizations like Caregiver University, cooking programs at the Hub, upcoming program with the Autism Society of Indiana. Teen Services librarian Kate Long has been focusing on outreach programming in the schools, including Bachelor, Jackson Creek, Tri-North, North, Academy of Science and Entrepreneurship. She partnered with teen librarians from the branches and Tiana here to support Edgewood Junior High students' STEM Challenge project. They were in this room earlier this week reviewing their projects and doing presentations and getting a tour of the library. Danny Price, besides getting his mouth burned during the Hot Ones program, has expressed deep gratitude for coworkers. I'm hearing that from all of them, actually. They're forging new bonds and beginning new partnerships that are going to turn into different kinds of services. And finally, Ginny Hostler with the other Southwest Children's Services staff have been enjoying outreach programming throughout the community. But Ginny shared an amazing story with me of working on the children's desk here downtown. They encountered a young boy and his grandmother, regular Southwest patrons, at the desk here. And the boy was literally dancing on his toes as he recounted all of his spring break adventures to Ginny. After he left to get his books, his grandmother told Ginny that he was really hoping to see one of his librarians from Southwest so that he could share his vacation experiences with them. In Ginny's words, it was, quote, one of those moments where you know you're making a great impact on someone. And it reiterated how important we all are, not only for informational and recreational needs, but for the very basic human needs of being seen, recognized, and welcomed, which was just great for me to hear from them. So they're quite busy. They're so excited to get back into their branch. But they're also kind of getting that sort of nervousness you get at the end of a long trip where you're like, oh, this is all going to go away. They're planning more and more things at a furious pace just for this period, which we don't have an end date for. So it's a special time. Thanks.
Thank you, Josh.
Hi, I'm Dana Duffy. I'm the program coordinator here at the library. They're going to help me out here. Oh, hooray, that was quick. One of our points on our strategic plan is to forge partnerships, and we have worked really hard to do that over the last few months. And I just kind of wanted to highlight some of the partnerships that we have had over this past few months. This is just a few of the people and organizations we've partnered with. And just to jump right into it, not that long ago, we worked with the Carmel Clay Public Library to bring Michael Carita to the library. We had a lot of people here. They enjoyed it a lot. He signed books, and it was a really good and successful event. But we also worked with sibling cities and the Palo Alto Public Library to bring Doug Hofstetter, even though he lives less than a mile away from here. He's not real keen on doing public speaking or presentations, but he made an exception for us and sibling cities in Palo Alto, and it was another really good, successful program. The Children's Department partners a lot with IU, and this was a really nice program. It was a beading program for children, and it was in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, and they partnered with the First Nations Educational and Cultural Center at IU. And I just think that's the sweetest little picture. He's so cute. And then we did talk a little bit about Mother Hubbard's Cupboard, the People's Market as well. Ivy Tech and Purdue Extension have all been partners with the Southwest Kitchen. And Ivy Tech here is shown doing a career day with the Teen Center. So we do have culinary programs that fall outside of the teaching kitchen, but of course, because that kitchen is so beautiful, that's where most people want to go. But the Ivy Tech, Purdue Extension, they did an international cooking program, and Mother Hubbard's Cupboard, and also sometimes partnering with the People's Market, they did a hyper-local series, so using local food to cook. We also go outside. Not all the programs happen in the library, and this is just an example of a couple of them. One was baby goat yoga, which was just adorable, and this happened out on the Kirkwood Plaza. And this is Lauren McAllister, who is also part of the People's Market. She brought lots of these beautiful little baby goats. And then one of our teen librarians at Southwest, she coordinated a walk in the Bean Blossom Nature Preserve, and it was called the Frog and Toad Walk, and there are frogs and toads in Bean Blossom, and that was a really successful event. And then there's our famous Danny of the Hot Ones. So there he is. And yeah, it was really a lot of fun. And these are programs that I just kind of wanted to highlight, that the cooking programs, we do partner a lot, but we also do our own cooking programs. We do Chopped and MCPL Bake Off, where people can submit their creations, and then it gets voted on and somebody wins, just kind of like the Great British Baking Show. Hot Ones was a lot of fun, as they said, watching Danny get his mouth burned after, and they ask him questions, and then he has to eat something with the hot sauce and answer the questions, and it becomes more and more troublesome for him to answer when his mouth is burning up. And then over here, this is the Taste Testers series, which is really fun. This is something that's done by the Children's Department, and this is the Taste Testers chips. So they're tasting all different flavors of chips. They've done Oreos, they've done Hershey's Kisses. In their office right now, they have bags and bags and bags and bags of Hershey's Kisses, and I tried them all, and I have to agree with all of the kids that the vanilla one is disgusting. So bad. And then finally, there's Greer reading to the stuffed animals that were enjoying a sleepover. The Children's Department had a program where they invited children to drop their stuffed animals off at the library, and then we took pictures of them as they were enjoying activities around the library, and then the kids came and collected their stuffed animals afterwards, and they could see just how important these stuffed animals were. So
They were a very tough audience.
it looks like it. Looks like it. Yeah. So that's all I have. Any questions or anything? All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Dana, for all those wonderful programs. All right. We're now at the point in our meeting for public comment. Do we have any members of the public that would like to step forward and address the board, or any members on Zoom? Okay. Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we are adjourned. Thank you.